Good morning, students. This is your geography lesson. Students, in this lesson, we will read about earthquakes. So, we start our lesson. Before reading about earthquakes, I will tell you about plate tectonics theory. Students, plate tectonics is the theory that Earth's outer shell is divided into large slabs of solid rock called plates. That Earth's outer shell is divided into large slabs of solid rock called plates that glide over Earth's mantle, the rocky inner layer above Earth's core. Earth's solid outer layer, which includes the crust and the uppermost mantle, is called the lithosphere and it is 100 km thick. Below the lithosphere is the asthenosphere. Below the lithosphere is the asthenosphere, a viscous layer kept malleable by heat deep within the earth. It lubricates the undersides of Earth's tectonic plates, allowing the lithosphere to move around. And how plate tectonics works? The driving force behind plate tectonics is convection in the mantle. The driving force behind plate tectonics is convection in the mantle. Hot material near the Earth's core rises and colder mantle rock sinks. It's kind of like a pot boiling on a stove. And meanwhile, geologists imagine the plates above this rolling mantle as bumper cars. They repeatedly collide, stick together, then rip apart. Geologists refer to the places where segments meet and divide as plate boundaries. They are thought to wrap around the earth like seams on a baseball. How earthquakes are caused? Earthquakes happen when two large pieces of the earth's crust suddenly slip. Earthquakes happen when two large pieces of the earth's crust suddenly slip. This causes shock waves to shake the surface of the earth in the form of an earthquake. Where do earthquakes happen? Earthquakes usually occur on the edges of large sections of the Earth's crust called tectonic plates. Where do earthquakes happen? Earthquakes usually occur on the edges of large sections of the Earth's crust called tectonic plates. These plates slowly move over a long period of time. Sometimes the edges, which are called fault lines, can get stuck, but the plates keep moving. Pressure slowly starts to build up where the edges are stuck, and once the pressure gets strong enough, the plates will suddenly move, causing an earthquake. Now come to page number 12 and read more about how earthquakes are caused. The movements of massive land areas called plates on the Earth's crust cause earthquakes, as I have told you already. Often covering areas larger than continents, these plates are in a constant state of motion as they are moving gradually. As the plates move, stresses form and accumulate until a fracture or abrupt slippage occurs. This sudden release of stress is called an earthquake. On October 8, 2005, a massive earthquake struck the India Pakistan border with a magnitude of 7.6 on the Richter scale, causing massive damage throughout northern areas of Pakistan, including Kashmir. So, as you know very well, that on October 8, 2005, a very huge, a very destructive earthquake struck the border of India and Pakistan as well. And especially it damaged the northern areas of Pakistan, including Kashmir. Northern Pakistan, including Kashmir, lies in the area of crash, collision of the Eurasian, a mixed European and Asian parentage, and Indian tectonic plates. So, Kashmir is the state that is located in such a range of earthquake, where earthquake happens, or the plates of earth are located there. The tectonic plates are located there. The earthquake caused widespread destruction to this region as well as damage in Afghanistan and northern India. Due to the earthquake, the part of that land was bitterly damaged, as well as the other countries near Pakistan was also affected by that earthquake. The worst hit areas were Pakistan administered Kashmir, Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and western and southern parts of the Kashmir Valley in the Indian administered Kashmir. It also affected some parts of the Pakistani province of Punjab, and the city of Karachi experienced a minor aftershock of magnitude 4.6. Since then, there have been many secondary earthquakes in the region, mainly to the northwest of the original epicenter. Epicenter, the central point of something. So, the main areas of earthquake were the northern areas, including Kashmir and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well. There were also southern parts and western parts of Pakistan. They were badly affected from that earthquake. Effects of earthquakes. Physical environment. Earthquakes cause damage to the physical environment, e.g., number one, faults leading to landslides. When there is rubbing and motion and movement in the inner parts of earth, the movement and motion become cause of landsliding. Number two, climate changes, rainfall, snowfall, and dust storms. Students, due to physical change in the layers of earth, climate change seems to be occurred. Number three, soil contamination. Contamination, the state of making impure by pollution or polluting something. And groundwater pollution. So, earthquake caused the action of making soil impure and groundwater as well. The earthquake had sudden effects on the physical environment of northern areas of Pakistan. The earth jolted, shake intensely intensely, generating deep cracks and faults causing landslides. Heavy snowfall and rainstorms further deepened the faults and cracks, changing the landscape. It has been reported that there were some volcanic eruptions discharge in some areas which released deadly chemicals that polluted the soil. These chemicals also polluted groundwater sources. Students, when the earth pushes shake roughly, this causes landsliding in northern areas of Pakistan. In some places, due to some volcanic discharge, deadly chemical affect the human life as well as physical environment. Now come to human environment. What are the effects of earth on human environment? The earthquakes caused heavy damage to the human environment in many ways. Number 1, massive loss of human life. Number 2, destruction of settlements and infrastructure. Number 3, wide scale migration to lowland areas. Number 4, social problems. Number 5, spread of diseases. Students, earthquake also damaged the lifestyle of the people. By the destruction of buildings and houses, many people, including men, women, children, lose their lives. Moreover, they get severe injuries and sometimes they are deprived of body parts. Most of the earthquake related deaths are caused by the collapse of structures. It has been estimated that the collapse of more than 60% of the buildings was responsible for the majority of deaths and injuries in earthquake areas. The city of Balakot was almost completely wiped out. In a severe earthquake, in a disaster earthquake, the city of Balakot was completely demolished, was destroyed, was finished. Thousands of people died in Rawalkot, Ghari, Habibullah, and Muzaffarabad near the epicenter, because these were the center point of earthquake. These areas were badly affected from earthquake. The infrastructure such as roads, bridges, electricity and telephone lines, hospitals and schools were damaged severely, causing problems for the survivors. So, if the people who were survived from the earthquake, from the disaster of earthquake, they had to face many problems from as the roads were damaged, bridges were damaged. They have to face problems while moving from that place, as well as the communication system and communication resources were badly affected. The Karakram highway was blocked at several points, hindering relief efforts. Due Similarly, Karakram highway was blocked due to several points because there was no repairing effort was done at the spot, because proper management was not available there. Due to extremely cold weather followed by the earthquake and hindrance in relief efforts, many diseases spread, leading to more deaths. As a result, the people were suffered from different diseases, and it led to more deaths. Many people who had lost their homes migrated to lowland areas to live in government relief camps. The earthquake survivors suffered economic and emotional losses. leading to many social problems as the people who were the survival, they had to depend on the government expenses, they have to live on the relief, on the aid of government, so they were badly suffered from the earthquake, and they lost their lives, they lost their homes as well as their property. They had to move from their homes and their uh, places. Effects of earthquakes on the economy. The earthquake overburdened Pakistan's economy in many ways. Emergency relief and rescue measures. First of all, there is need of emergency relief and rescue settlement management. There should be a management, there should be a team, a rescue team to move to that place and rescue the people, to help the people to come out from that area. Rehabilitation expenditures. If the people who are survival, they move from that place and come to the safer place, um, it's responsibility of the government to give them shelter and give them necessary and basic needs of life, basic requirements of life. So indirectly, government expenditures are increased. Halted tourism. If there is earthquake, there is disaster in that area and there is no plain roads and there is no way, proper and smooth way to reach the desired destination or place, it will stop the tourism. Inflow of foreign loans, increasing debt burden of Pakistan. If Pakistan is facing such problem, Pakistan government has to face many problems economically, because they have to depend on the foreign aid, because Pakistan is a developing country and it's not possible for such a country to meet such requirements. So in this matter, Pakistan have to suffer economically. However, inflow of humanitarian assistance reduced the economic burden on Pakistan's financial resources to some extent. On the other hand, there are a lot of people who are financially strong in Pakistan and they help in the time of need. They are so supporting and so helping for the other people who are suffering from such circumstances. Clear, students? Got my points? So this is your lesson for today. Thank you for listening. Take care. Allah Hafiz.